Hi there, it's Deirdre here. Today, the 18th, the 18th of June, we have Mercury and Venus both moving into Cancer. So this is kind of like the kickoff or the start of Cancer season. The Sun will move into Cancer late this week and over the weekend. And so these two planets are kind of preceding that move of the Sun. So kind of kicking off that Cancer season a little bit sooner with their energy. So Venus being the planet of love and beauty and money, when she moves into the energy of Cancer, it allows us to have a lot more compassion, a lot more of an ability to see things and feel things from another person's perspective. So it can be a really good time for, really putting yourself in other people's shoes and rather than, not being able to see where they're coming from in some sort of argument or disagreement that you're having, or even on some sort of emotional level when you can't quite see that other person's perspective. Well, when Venus moves into Cancer, suddenly that can become a whole lot more clear to you. So you get a lot more clarity with how you're feeling and also being able to tune into the feelings of others, because most Cancerian energy is a highly intuitive energy. The water signs of the zodiac work very naturally with spiritual energy because water is the perfect conduit for spiritual energy. But that's not to say that any sign of the zodiac can be incredibly intuitive. It's not just the water signs. But when we've got a lot of planets in Cancer or a lot of planets in any of the water signs, it's going to affect the collective on that intuitive level. So everybody is going to be feeling more into things. And that is a great way to be as far as your intuition and your gut instinct is concerned. But it's not such a good way to be if you're going to fall into poor me or victim mentality, because that is probably the downside of that Cancerian energy, is retreating back into your Cancerian shell and not coming out till everybody's nice to you again. So you're not going to get very far if you behave like that. So with Venus and Cancer, we've got this influx of intuition, of empathy, of compassion for others, for the world. But most importantly, make sure you use some of that self-love, that compassionate energy on yourself. Don't just leave it all for what you can give to others and be the ultimate Cancerian mother. Instead, look after yourself. Self-love is the greatest tool any of us can learn and advance and progress in every way. So this is a good opportunity to start really working on that at this time. So we also have Mercury moving into Cancer. So Mercury is the planet of communication. So when he's in Cancer, it makes it a lot easier for us to communicate on a more compassionate, empathetic level. It'll be easier for us to use our words to be to get to the core of a matter in a very gentle, often way. It's a time where you can perhaps maybe not overly sugarcoat what you're saying, but be able to put a slant on it or a perspective on it that means that what you're saying isn't so harsh, or it won't be perceived or taken to heart so much by other people. So it really gives you that ability to use your words for the highest good of all concerned. Right, and that means that if you do have something you've been needing to say to someone that is emotionally laden in some way, Mercury in Cancer can really help you to actually cut to the crux of it and get it out there in the way that it needs to be said and needs to be heard. So once again, because Cancerian energy is such an intuitive energy, not only will you be feeling into things a whole lot more and feeling your intuition a whole lot more, but you'll also be able to communicate it a whole lot more with Mercury sitting there. So don't be surprised if you find the odd thing comes popping out of your mouth. Often spirit use us. If somebody needs to hear something and we're the person that can deliver that message, then what you can often find, especially when Mercury's in Cancer, that the words can just come flying out of your mouth that you either never intended to say, or it can even be things that you didn't even know that you knew. And the next thing, they're coming flying out of your mouth. And so you never apologize for those things, because that's basically spirit speaking through you. You don't apologize for the content of what you say, but you might have to be careful in how you present that information and sort of putting it as clearly and concisely as possible, and being aware that it's not up to you to interpret any message that comes through you, the message for the other person. You're just the vessel that it comes through. So when we have Mercury in Cancer, it's also considered to be an extremely intelligent placement, because because Cancerian energy, because it's so intuitive, with our brains, they often talk about how much of our brain that we use. And because most people only use the very logical, practical side of their brain, it sort of works out that we only use about 20 to 30% or even less of our grey matter at any given time. However, the more intuitive you are and or the more creative you are, the more of your brain you use. Because basically that's the part of our brain that we're not using enough of, is that intuition, that feeling into things, that deep inner knowing that we all have and we all carry, but so many of you do not rely on, do not listen to, and don't pay any attention to. So we've got to really step into that. So when Mercury's in Cancer, what you'll probably find is that suddenly there's going to be all sorts of aha moments, and also lots of times when things are just going to make sense and just sort of fall into place. So you're going to start to really see how we can combine our intuitive energy with our intelligence energy, or our knowledge and wisdom and all that sort of thing, and bring them both together to come up with the perfect result, the perfect conversation, the perfect result. What else? Answer to any question. It just allows us to look into things more deeply and to feel our way into things, because that's what we're really stepping into with all the changes that are going on the Earth plane at the moment. One of the most important things for all of us to know and be aware of is our ability to feel into things, because your heart, your body will not lie to you. If something feels right to you, then it is right for you. But if something doesn't feel right to you, sometimes you'll go ahead with it anyway, because your logical mind is telling you, no, this is the perfect thing for me to do. This is the perfect answer to my problem. But if you've got that gut feeling that, oh, this doesn't feel right, even though your logic is telling you, yes, it is right, then you should stop and listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, because it's your greatest guide, much more so than any logic or practical knowledge that you carry. So with these two planets moving into Cancer ahead of the sun, it's really building up this energy. And, the Cancerian energy is all about self-love. So this is our opportunity this month to really step into our own energy of self-love and to learn to put ourselves first, while still having compassion, understanding, and empathy for everybody else, but not always putting yourself last. If there's a piece of cake on the table, you're allowed to have it. It doesn't have to go to somebody else. So enjoy these energies, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.